Good morning, everybody. My name is Heidi Strobel, and I am the Associate Dean for Academic and Student Affairs. I am going to do this recording for graduate students who are interested in having employment in the College of Visual Art and Design. So we're going to work with a couple of web pages here. So in a couple of weeks, your graduate coordinator or your department chair should share this URL with you. So you're going to go to this URL in order to apply for employment. Now, the first day that you can register for your classes is Monday, March 16th. So please do that on the 16th, and on the 17th, the employment portal for the College of Visual Art and Design will be open. So you'll come to this URL and you'll see Fall 2026 open. So a quick reminder here that you need to reapply for employment every semester. So we're going to go ahead and assume that this says open, and I would strongly recommend that you try to meet the priority deadline here for completing your employment application. So as soon as you go here, you should be able to go to this dynamic form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through a few of the things on this dynamic form that seem to be possible challenges or stumbling blocks. So we'll put that there. So in the College of Visual Art and Design, you may be eligible for three different types of employment depending on what your degree is that you're pursuing. So I'm going to go in here and I am going to pretend that I am pursuing a PhD in art education. So I'm going right there. So the three different types of employment in the college are listed here: TF, TA, and GSA. So these are really well described here, so I'm not going to go through these, but I would encourage you to go ahead and make sure you understand the difference between these. One chief difference between TF and TA and GSA is that teaching fellows are the instructor of record in their class. So that means that they are the instructor and they will be the person for whom spot evaluations are filled out. So I've gone ahead, let's go to the personal information, and please notice that my email address is located right here, and my colleague Amanda Weiss's email address is located right here. So if you have questions or concerns, you can reach out to us at those email addresses after you've worked your way through this video. So I've got my first and last name here. I have a fake student ID. Now I want to go down to the UNT student email. So I've never been a student at UNT, so I actually don't have a student email, but if I did, it would look like this. So this is my employee email, so heidi.strobel@unt.edu, but this is my student email right here. Why is this important? Because when you go through this form, what will happen is your employee email will auto-populate. You need to go right here. You need to go in and change it to this student email, because that is where you will get communication regarding this dynamic form. Okay, so again, I can't do this because I've never been a student here, but you need to go in and change the auto-populated employee email to your student email at UNT. Please, again, fill in your EUID as well, your phone number, and your anticipated graduation date. So moving down to language proficiency, the state of Texas requires that our instructors and graders are able to communicate well in English. So there are a couple of different ways that you can do this. For me, English is my first language. So I would go in and I would say I'm fluent in English. But let's say that my first language is Spanish or German. Then what I would do is I would go down here and I'm a little bit more familiar with TOEFL than IELTS. So I would go ahead and choose TOEFL score, assuming that I had taken that actual test. Now, if you haven't done either of those tests, then you need to go ahead and say, I need to be enrolled in testing, and then go ahead and contact the folks at internationalta@unt.edu so you can be tested to demonstrate your competency in English. So that's one thing that you need to do. Another thing that you need to do is indicate that you have taken a class that will help you in the classroom. So there are a couple of different ways that you can do this. Let's say, and we'll go back here for a second. Let's say I am pursuing an MFA in studio art. Then what I can do only MFAs in studio art can sign up for ASTU 5005, which is done in lieu or instead of the G step. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say, I've done that. I've enrolled in or completed ASTU 5005. So let's go back and switch me back again to PhD in art education. I can't do that. I can't take this class as a PhD in art education. What I need to do is to register for the G-STEP, which can be taken at the same time as you teach in a classroom or TA in a classroom. So I am registered for the G-STEP. I have completed the G-STEP are your options. Now, when you complete the G-STEP, you should receive a certificate probably to your student email. So I would check both emails, your student and employee email, and find that and go ahead and attach the file. If you've registered, go ahead and upload your confirmation email here. If you're having problems with this after you've gone through those two kind of troubleshooting steps, then feel free to go ahead and reach out to us. So we're moving to the spot evaluation acknowledgement section. So we are required to have our students fill out student perceptions of teaching. So if you are a TF, you will have your teaching evaluated through the spot forms. And of course, we hope, and the G-STEP and the ASTU 5005 are in part designed to help you be better in the classroom. So the goal is for us to have good spot evaluation results. So what you're going to need to do is go ahead and click that to say I've acknowledged that. Okay, my responsibility and reliability acknowledgement. So I'm expected to fulfill the duties as assigned during the duration of my employment. Those may differ depending on your assignments. So let's say as a PhD student here in the college, I have two different assignments. Let's say I'm assigned to be a teaching assistant in foundations, and I'm assigned to work as a GSA, let's say in the wood shop. So I'm going to reach out to the foundations director, and I'm going to reach out to the wood shop supervisor to find out when they expect my job duties to begin. So often for foundations, there is an orientation that is required that is held in the few days preceding the beginning of the semester. So what I would strongly recommend is that you follow this advice right here. If you are selected for a position, please email your supervisors, I would say soon, who will be named in your offer letter to confirm when they expect you to start fulfilling your job duties. So I'm going to go ahead and tick that box to indicate that I acknowledge that information. The other thing I would talk about, or want to mention here is, please, if you do need to take some time off, arrange that with your supervisors at least 2 weeks ahead of time. I would strongly recommend that you do not take a vacation in the middle of the semester. The reason why I'm talking about this is because it's happened. So I'm sorry to bring up something that seems pretty obvious, but what we do here in the college is we try to make our own time off coincide with when the university is not in session. Now, emergencies come up. So if there is something that you need to do, reach out to your supervisor immediately and communicate about that in a professional way, which I'm sure you will. So enrollment policy acknowledgement. So we're going down to the next section here. So I am a PhD student in art education and I'm close to completing my dissertation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill out a reduced course load request so that I can sign up for 6 credit hours instead of 9 credit hours. So for everybody who isn't in their last semester in the college, you need to sign up for 9 hours of coursework. That means that you are eligible to work in the college, unless of course you filled out this reduced course load request and are in the last term of your degree. So you'll need to do that to be able to be employed in the college. Now during the summer, things are a little different. We don't require students to be enrolled in the summer term to be teaching or working in the college. So if you have filled out your reduced course load request form, please do so before you're applying for employment and be ready to upload your form to this particular section. So I'm going to go here and tick and then I'm going to attach that file. So if I did have a reduced course load request that had been approved, it would be available there, and I'd go ahead and attach it. So let's move down to the employment information. So this is pretty straightforward. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to choose fall of 26. We do have a few summer positions available most summers, but that isn't a time when we hire lots of graduate students. So I'm going to go ahead and choose fall 2026 here. So this next drop down is where we've had a few problems. So what I want to do is kind of explain in great detail why it's important that you choose one of these two options. So most of our students in the college choose the 50% FTE. The reason why they do that is, number one, it gives them the tuition benefit package benefit, essentially, which pays for part of their tuition payment. It also is more money than doing a 25% FTE, which means full-time equivalency. So if you need that TBP, then you need to go ahead and sign up for that 50% FTE. If you don't, and you feel like you only have 10 hours per week to spend on work, then go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to choose 50% FTE because I do need that tuition benefit package. So the next question is about the teaching of art history at the UNT Frisco campus. So this is really only for our art education PhD students because they are the ones who are eligible to teach this class. Now, I'm recording here in Denton. Obviously there's a bit of a drive between Denton and Frisco. So the reason why we ask folks if they'd be interested in teaching at Frisco, if they have the qualifications, meaning if they're working on a PhD, is because it takes a bit to get out there to teach there. So I am a PhD student in art ed, and I do have a car, and I can, let's say I live out in Frisco, it's not that difficult for me to teach in Frisco, then I would go ahead and choose that. But most of us aren't really in that situation, so I'm going to go ahead and say no, and I can't commute to Frisco. Now let's get down to this part. Other than your enrolled courses, are there other days, times of the week that you will be unavailable to work? So we all have our different obligations. One thing I would ask you to kind of keep in mind is the hours of employment for positions in the college tend to be 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. because we have classes that go to 8 p.m. So that's what we're talking about Monday through Friday. Once in a blue moon, so very rarely we have Saturday classes, but we don't have any on the schedule right now. So I know that I have an obligation every Monday and Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. So what I would put here is I sing in two choirs on Monday and Tuesday nights. They meet from 7 to 9 p.m. So then what Amanda Weiss and I are going to do is we're going to look at everybody's class schedule and availability schedule and try to match your schedules with the classes that we need covered. If you like video games, you might think of Tetris. That's what we're doing here. So what I would do is give us your availability or give us your unavailability in this box, and we will assume that unless you're in class or it's something that's mentioned here that you are available. Now, let's say I sign up for 3 classes in art ed and I find out kind of late that Dr. Laura Evans is teaching an amazing class that I want to teach. And so I've submitted my employment form to the college with the 3 classes I signed up for. And then I'm like, oh wait, I want to go ahead and sign up for Laura Evans' class and drop one of my other classes. That's really not a big deal. That's really normal in the college. What I'm going to ask you to do is to not submit a second form, dynamic form like the one that we're on here. I'd like you to email Amanda or myself, and we'll go back to the emails here to say, hey, I changed my schedule and here is my new schedule. That way we'll look to see if your new class conflicts with your assignment. So not a big deal, but please don't submit a second dynamic form for yourself. Finally, what I would do is make sure that all of your skills are reflected on your resume or your CV. So let's say I'm a PhD student, as I've been portraying myself here, who worked in a design firm for 5 years between my bachelor's degree and my master's degree. So I would make sure that I have those design skills on my CV, even though I could get employed in the college in an art education class, an art history class, or a design class. If you have that design experience, we know that you're more versatile, right? Or if you, it's more accurate to say, if your resume shows us all the skills you have, we know how versatile you are. So please make sure that you do have all of your art and design skills and technical skills reflected there. So I'm going to go ahead and attach my resume there. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and click this right here. I'm going to sign and I'm going to date it and I'm going to submit form. Now you should get an email that confirms that you have submitted this dynamic form. I would check in both your student and employee email, but then you're done. So I hope this has been helpful. We've got captions here, and good luck with the employment process. Again, remember that the portal opens on March 17th. Okay, thank you.